Hey, what's up, guys? This is TBone here. Welcome to another stream here. It is Tuesday, and it is an Earth Commander event preview. So we're gonna take a look at the cards here as always, and we're also going to take a look at some of the announcements that they've made for the event to see what we can expect, and also take a look and see what cards we could potentially work with. So I'll be going to tier 3 today. We'll take a look at the cards, and then I'll try and give my take on the options that you could use. And then I started doing this thing where on Sundays I do my event review afterwards. So let me know what you think, and let me know if that is something that you like to see, and I'll continue to do that as well. So welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining me here. And so let's take a look at the news feed first. It's kind of short, so basically just kind of some announcements here. So the first thing is they have a new relic. A new rare relic that is in the 5th tier, so that's not something that hasn't been done before. It's happened a few times. So if you are going up there, at least you can get a ultimate relic that way. They have reduced the overall difficulty of Commander, and I think this is good based on the feedback that we've given, that it's just too difficult to really compete once you get to the Diamond and Platinum and Corellium level. And so we'll see how much easier it's going to be. And then the Revival Vault. So the Legacy Vault is going away for now. And, I actually did some analysis for it, but it's going to go away because I think, based on feedback, it's just too expensive. Not a lot of people are going deep into it, and there's a reason why. And so instead, we're going to get the Revival Vault this week. And so take advantage of that and make sure to get your seasonal coins. All right, so thank you guys for the good luck wishes, and just for people who are joining. So I have stopped doing the giveaways for now. I will let you guys know when I do it beforehand. So for this particular stream, there isn't going to be any giveaway. So just wanted to make sure that set the expectations there. All right, and so let's take a look at the cards here. So this is a Earth Immortal Killer card, and so the cards that you can obviously benefit from is, as normal as always, the golems and high performance area, but there are other cards that if you have in your arsenal that you could take advantage of. But let's start by taking a look at the cards here. Now I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of the art itself. Not a huge insects fan, especially ones that are like furry and mothy and things like that. So it's not my my most favorite style, but I think that to each his own, right? All right, so Savage Storm is the ultimate form here, and this is going to be a very similar deck to the Starborn Sentinels deck, and I'll talk about that a little bit. The battle skill here, it gives you 15% damage resistance based on the number of Earth Power Gen 5s or higher that's on the board, and it's the first time I'm seeing this kind of a skill, but I'm guessing that it's additive, so that means every Power Gen 5 or higher you have on the board gives you 15. So if there's 2 of them, there'll be 30% damage resistance. And I want to say that damage resistance probably I've never heard the term resistance before, so I can't say that if you get up to 100% damage resistance, that means you basically get 0 damage taken. Although it sounds like that might be the case. It's a 4-turn cooldown, so it's essentially if you can get that many, if you can get enough to get 100%, then essentially it's a 4-turn immunity deck, which I think isn't too bad. We don't typically get these kind of skills with less than 5 turns cooldown. And so if that really is the case where you can basically get your damage down to 0, then in terms of the cooldown, it's not too bad, okay? The passive ability, what it will do is it will create 3 Power Gen 5s at the beginning of every turn. And it also has this ability to create more if your enemies are poisoned. And we'll talk about the status poison next. Basically, if the enemies are poisoned, then you get additional Power Gems. So it's exactly the same style as Starborn Sentinels, which we've known to be very helpful in today's meta. And I'll show you what that looks like. The passive ability is called Venom and Sting. And so whenever the hero attacks, you're going to poison all the enemies, and 50% of the damage of the attack will be dealt to them for 3 turns. And because this is the same as the Starborn Sentinels, what this means is after you do an attack, let's say you deal 1 trillion for an attack. Immediately afterwards, you will then deal 500 billion to the enemy, and then that 500 billion will be applied for 3 turns straight. Then the very next turn, let's say you deal another trillion, what that card will do is it will still deal another 500 billion on top of that. So then, so what you'll do is you'll start compounding, you'll start adding those 50%. So you're gonna do the 500 billion from the previous turn, 500 billion this turn, for a total of 1 trillion damage. So basically, if you deal the same amount of damage every single turn, by the third turn, you're going to deal an additional 150%. That's basically the easiest way to think about it. Okay, and so it's a pretty decent. It's a pretty decent skill, I would say. But as you know, this deck with the skills that it has, I can tell you the deck itself will not be powerful enough to do like 500% overkill. But with the difficulty decreasing, it could mean that the health is decreased. So you might be able to get more like 200, like 100%, 200%. I'm not sure how easy it will be to get up to the 500% level, but the deck on its own isn't going to do that unless you have some sort of a boost. So we'll be talking about that afterwards. Now, this is the Master Collection card, Scorpion the Juggernaut. This card has the basic power gem spawning skill in that it will spawn 4 power gem 4s for 2 turns straight, and it has a 2-turn cooldown. So basically, every single turn or every 2 turns you can activate it, and you can always get power gem 4s on the board. All right, and so thanks everybody for the good luck wishes. I do hope I can get something good, but it's only 3 tiers. I'm not too worried about it. But anyways, this is a it's not a big power gem spawner, but it does give you 4 every single turn. So you're guaranteed to get 4 power gems every single turn, and this is one that will also give the 50% damage at the end of every turn. So every time you attack, you poison your enemies, and then 3 turns later, you're going to do 50% of that card of the card's damage for 3 turns straight. So basically, you can kind of keep adding to it. And then the ultra rare card, Moonlit Matriarch, is the one that will give you that passive ability to create power gems. And so the battle skill, which is a lot better than I think the Starborn Sentinels version, where you basically get you have a turn delay, right? You have a turn delay of Starborn Sentinels, but with this deck, you get 15 damage resistance. The fact that there's 2 cards that give 15% damage resistance really kind of throws me off, because like once you reach 100%, does that it kind of is just redundant. So but if it really does mean that you get 0% damage taken, then you can basically stagger it. So you can use ultra rare card 1 turn, then you can use the ultimate form 1 turn, and then you can basically prolong your fight. So it doesn't matter how much damage the boss deals, you'll be able to resist that. But it doesn't say that it's 15% resistance for the entire team. So I'm not sure if it's necessary. It's because the first time I'm hearing it, so I'm assuming that you're not going to take damage. 50% of the damage is going to be resisted, or you'll just be dealt like 85% less. So my first instinct is that it adds up. The other possibility is that it just multiplies. So it never goes down to 100%. It'll just be like 15%, and then you do 15 times 15%. Like you just add onto the top of that. But I think that's kind of complicated. So for now, I'm just gonna say maybe it's just 15% and then another 15% for every power gem that you have. That's how I'm gonna read into it. The passive ability is the one that I think is more helpful for future events. So if you were to pick either Master Collection card or the Ultra Rare card, if you had to pick one or the other, I would go with the Ultra Rare card. I think that it is. I think that it's going to be more useful based on the current meta today. We can take a look at the event card as well. I haven't taken a look at that skills yet, so I want to see. So this is Subterral, multi-sighted marksman. It's really just a dragonfly. And what this card does is same thing as the Master Collection card, but instead of 4 power gem 4s, it gives you 3 power gem 4s. So the Master Collection card and the event card is almost the same, except for the killer bonus. It is almost the same in terms of skills, and it will deal 30% of the damage for 3 turns instead of 50. So the power of the event card has gone up, which is a good thing. I think that is a good thing here, and it will basically poison for 3 turns, just a slightly less damage. But The main difference here is it has 400% increased killer bonus instead of the Master Collection card, which is 800% increase. So the event card will deal less damage, but as a support card, playing the support role of Power Gen Spawner, that card is really good. This is a pretty good event card. I'm happy with that. And then we have the support card, which is Liukamsa, Night Queen, another Moth. It is a basic gem spawner, but it can do it every turn. So every turn you can activate it, and it will heal at the beginning of every turn. So a decent card to use, and what it will dispel, usually support cards dispel something different than the rest of the cards. It dispels chaos. Now chaos will become a kind of a problem for the cards that we use today. So for example, like if you take a look at, let's see, where's the deck that I used? The deck that I used for the previous event, for example, uses the Starborn Sentinels for its ability to create 5 Power Gen 5s, right? 3 Power Gen 5s at the beginning of every turn. And so what you want to do is you're trying to save these power gems so that you don't gem crush. And you use the high performance area to then overwrite those power gems. But if it gets hit by chaos, then basically it will reset all of those power gems. And so all of those power gems that you're saving up becomes empty. And so you do need to take care of chaos. You do need to dispel it if you use this style. And I think I saw poison somewhere, toxin somewhere too. So toxin is going to be another issue that will completely block high performance area. High performance area, the weakness for it is weaken and also toxin. So toxin will prevent this skill from going off, and so you do need to also worry about that. All right, so let's take a look and see if we can get some cards. And if I can't, then we'll field the team and try to play with it, and then we can check them out so that we can try out some of the new abilities that I haven't seen yet. Okay, I think I can go 3 tiers, so let's go and take a look here. And because there is also the Revival Vault, I would highly recommend you take a look and see. I think they're going to have jailers at one point if they follow the same pattern. Hopefully they'll also have a jailer as well. And so I got the main card, or the event card, so that's good. So my tier 1 pull had a silver card, and that is the event card, which is really good. And Con will indeed, there's alacrity. Is there alacrity? This man, if they have alacrity, then they've seriously thought this through really well. How to stop the cards that we're all using. So I got the silver card, so that's pretty good. I'm happy about that. And then let's go to tier 2. So Catherine McIntyre, is it Forge worthy? I would say almost. I think the ultra rare card is almost Forge worthy if you don't have Starborn Sentinels, because it does really help in today's meta of bringing out the Power Gen 5s passively every single turn, and it should be. I would say it's almost Forge worthy by itself, but definitely if you have one or the other, I would go for the ultimate form. So I agree with Con William Deep here as well. All right, so let's go to tier 3, and let's see if we can get lucky and get one of the 2 gold cards. I will go ahead and forge the team because I have enough points to forge 1 card. And so let's take a look. And hey, what do you know? I did get it as soon as I said it. So this is the ultra rare card, Moonlit Matriarch. So I'm happy with that. And as I mentioned, what I'll do is I will go ahead and forge that. I think I should probably just say this before I open every tier. Say I will go ahead and forge it if I have it, right? Did I? I think I got 2. I think I got 2 ultra rare cards for my tier 3 pull. And here is the relic. So I got 2 ultra rare cards. So it feels like, well, I kind of have to go for my ultimate form now. So I'm happy with that. So I will get. So I got 2 ultra rare cards. Holy smokes! So I'm gonna go ahead and forge the. Ultra rare ultimate form because I do need to get the Master Collection card to get this. However, I will not be able to get the shiny just yet because I am missing one of the cards from the collections, and so the one that I'm missing, unfortunately, is this one right here, Masao, and I used my coin. It's not even available anymore, I don't think, right? So I can't even get this from Proving Grounds. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed I get this from the collections. But what that means is I can now go ahead and craft. I have 62 coins, so that means that I will be able to craft it. I was kind of thinking like I could save it for the fire team too, but I actually do think that I could probably, I'm just going to go ahead and get this. Because why not, right? And so let's go ahead and craft this, because I do feel like without having the team in Commander events, it's going to be a little bit harder. And 1800 gems, I guess it's going to be available in the, right? Just want to make sure I don't get the wrong one. So let's go ahead and craft this one. So we're going to pull Scorpion the Juggernaut. So let's go ahead and craft it. So the Reaper, I used my Proving Grounds coin on another, basically another pink star for my Spirits United deck. Because I wanted to give myself a little bit more damage. I was using Spirits United as my main sort of killer damage boost, and so I had 1 star for it. I wanted to get to 2 stars, and that's what I did. All right, so. Sounds like the Drillfist Steeple is going to have this card available. If that's the case, then I will be able to get my shiny collection, because I was lucky and got my event card on turn 1 on tier 1. So let's go ahead and forge. And now that we have the card, what we can do is we can test it out, and then we can sort of see what that is really like. All right. And so let's go ahead and forge this, and we forged it. So let's go ahead and field it. I can't believe I got 2 Ultra Rare cards. That is insane. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our cards here. And so we've got our Ultimate Form, and we got our Master Collection card. And the Ultra Rare cards are the ones that give you the passive ability. Like, they're the ones that give you the passive spawn. And normally, I would say this is probably like, if you have this set up and you're not dealing with chaos, I would probably say you then should just go ahead and use this card. You should just put in the high performance area. That's what I would do. Right? And so what you get here is basically you get the damage boost for all Immortal Killer bonus. And then you go ahead and boost your heroes. You could also use this card, and that is Slayer, and that's Immortal, right? So if you have Verdant Druids, so Verdant Druids is also an Immortal Killer card, and what that does is not this one. I think it is the Ultra Rare card. Making You, I think, is the one that gives the bonus, right? So Making You increases it by, 30%, and then for every 10 Immortal Killer, it goes up as well. And so if you're playing the long game and you basically get yourself up to, 2,500%, then you'll be able to match the high performance areas boost. Basically, then you can get the same thing as well. So you can use Making You also to give you a boost, but it's going to be much, much slower. It's a much, much slower progression of the boost. That's why using high performance area is going to be recommended. But this deck right here, like, this is also going to passively create power gems. And so this one right here is going to create 6 power gems every turn, plus the passive ability of 3 power gem 5s, everything. It's going to be just insane, right? But normally, let's say you get 1 card of each. You wouldn't have this, you wouldn't have 2 Ultra Rare cards. So then what I would do is, if you were to use 1 of each, you could do that as well. Another card that you could also use if you don't have the event deck is going to be the Quick and Dirty deck, if you have that. So Quick and Dirty is also Immortal Killer. All right, so Immortal Killer, and don't forget we're going to get one of the well, I guess it's not going to be in this event. I think it's going to be a week from now. We're going to get Quick and Dirty's Ultra Rare card, so you can get that as well. But this is also the card that you can use, and it can create quite a bit of power gems. Like, it creates up to 10 power gem 4s based on the number of intel you get. And so this is a reset deck, and so it does work well overall if the goal is, hey, look, I just want to be able to create a bunch of power gems and then have it all crush into something. I think they've updated the crushing mechanic so that it's easier to get the higher level power gems. That's what I think. And so it's not as terrible now, right? And so we're gonna be getting the quick and dirty ultra rare card. Is it on Saturday? Okay, so I guess I thought it was gonna be further out. So you'll be able to use that. You'll be able to use that team if you're just missing the ultra rare. So it'll be later, but at least you have a couple days that you can have that in your arsenal. But in terms of building out the cards here, I think there's a lot of options here. So like let's see, right? So Savage Swarm dispels Alacrity, and so so there's Alacrity. So Savage Swarm dispels Alacrity. Excuse me, the Master Collection card dispels Toxin. So having this card in here means that you'll be able to use Hyper from this area. This is kind of interesting too, where you're basically using Moonlit Matriarch and the Ultimate Form as a way to passively create power gems, but the ultra rare card and the ultimate form by themselves, they aren't good gem spawners. And so at least with the power, at least with the battle skill, but the passive ability means that the longer the fight goes, the higher your immortal killer intensity gets, the more gems that you will create. And so my problem right now is I only have one Earth Immortal Immortal Relic that will be applied for my commander deck. And so another thing that you could do is you could use an off affinity card relic as well to basically to boost it. And so what I'm gonna have to do here is I won't be increasing intensity there, but what I could do is probably just say I kind of don't want to do that though. I'm trying to figure out like how I would actually get my relics in play here. And so I got all of my dark ones in there. I guess I could probably switch out the team here, but let me go ahead and put something in here for now. If I were to do that, I guess what I can do is I can just go ahead and say, let me go ahead and pick the relics, and then let's go test out the team. All right. So let's go ahead and put the relics in there. Since I have these, I can do that. I guess it's not going to be too terrible. I'll just start it this way. Okay, so let's go ahead and try out this just to see what this is like against a trial boss, I suppose. And funny enough, like with this mechanic, you'll actually then be able to play against the Corellian boss, right? So let's go and do that. So let's go ahead and use that. I can show you how this actually will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this. And let's go ahead and bring in our second ultra rare card. So now what we're gonna have is we're gonna have just passive abilities, left, right, and center, and we're gonna go up against Sentry Storm. So this is going to be 250, so Sentry Storm, we'll go ahead and use that. And so this is all about passive ability, which is perfect because I want to see what the passive ability is going to be like. Although the battle skill is the one that I'm not going to be able to show. Prozac, you're not a fan of the Dread skill? So I guess I'm missing something. All right, so let's take a look here just to see. Right, but I'm not using high performance area here. Not using it for the boost because I want to see what kind of damage it can have. Although I do have a little bit of boost coming from I'm not getting any boost from making you because I have Verdant Druids instead. So I'm just getting the passive ability. I'm not getting any boost, but I can't use high performance area here anyway. So like I just want to kind of show like so how many power gems we can have with the setup here. So on turn 2, so your passive ability, all of these passive abilities 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 power gem 5s. All right, and I was supposed to also get some power gems from Verdant Druids too, right? I think I was supposed to get 6 power gems from Verdant Druids. And so it is very easy with this deck. Look at this. It is very easy with this deck to end up getting a ton of power gems. So if you can get this with a boost, you should be able to do this every turn, right? So I just kind of wanted to showcase that, look, like it is possible to get a bunch of gems here. We'll see how much damage you can deal afterwards. I just need to, I need to get the battle, I need to test the battle skill to do Gem Crush. Yeah. So I'm not gonna be able to test out the battle skills here, but I wanted to sort of see like the passive ability and kind of want to get an opportunity to test out like how much damage we can deal against this. Now this is Immortal Killer, so I'm not getting any Immortal Killer bonus or anything like that, so there's no boost against Sentry Storm. I'm only getting the affinity bonus here. So let's go in quickly. Now, ideally, what I really should have done, what I really should have done is I should have just put in what I should have done is I should have put in a Generation 2 Legend card in here, because that will give like a 20%, 2,000% damage boost. But for now, we're just going to take out the armor, and then we're going to take a look and see this. So let's see. So I could get Masawa from the past Ultimates pack starting Friday at reset. Yeah, so the problem is going to be like, my gem count. So I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to save up the gems by then. But if it's there, I could... I'll take a look by the time the card comes around. So thanks for the information. And so let's see. And so see, finally a Toxin Dispeller for Green Dragoon. Yeah, so that means we're going to be able to dispel Toxin for green, so that's going to be good news too. So having that is going to be good also. Hey, look at this. Did you see that? There's a I can use the battle skill here. I think that's a bug right there, because I'm not supposed to be able to use the battle skill. Literary Sincerity. Is it normal to get main or rare cards on the 3rd tier pull? So generally, it is. Yeah, look at that. I can actually get a. I can actually nuke here. This doesn't look right. Everything else is getting Everything else is getting disabled, but I was able to actually. Huh. And then you can see there too, like because I'm poisoning the boss here. It's also getting additional damage dealt to it. All right, so my ultimate form and my Master Collection card is also dealing additional damage. So you can see that, and it's basically getting additive, right? And I think after the Gem Crush here, oh, I think I know why. The Gem Crush mechanic is allowing me to fill it up, and it doesn't count as the turn. So because of the Gem Crush, it's actually filling up, and it doesn't count. So that's why I was able to use it. That makes sense. Okay, so that's how you can circumvent. That's actually how you can circumvent that boss then. Like Gem Crush can actually. I haven't played the Corellian boss since Gem Crush started, and so I didn't realize that. So hey, it's not absolutely necessary to use just passive abilities, because you could use Gem Crush to fill it up, and it doesn't seem to impact it. And so what I should have done is I should have used Gem Crush, and I should have used the battle skills there, killed the boss. So I can't do that. So let's go ahead and go against another legend boss this time. Because what we want to know is how much damage reduction we can take, right? And the problem is if I go with a silver boss, then it's not going to. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to take out. I'm going to end up killing the boss too quickly. Okay. I was considering putting the Gen 2 card in there, but if I go up against a Corellian boss, if I go up against a boss with a Gen 2 leader, it's going to end up killing the boss too quickly. So let's go ahead and summon a 50 coin one. Now let's go ahead and try out the battle skill to see how much damage reduction we should realistically expect, because I gotta say, like, I'm not quite sure about the wording there. All right, and so let's go ahead and battle here. The problem with these bosses is that they don't deal enough damage, and so because they don't deal enough damage, I can't really tell for sure like how much we're saving. So let's see, 1.9 million is what I'm starting with. Okay, so 1.9 million is what I'm starting with, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna activate my battle skill for my Master Collection card and my. Right, so right now what I'm getting here is I'm getting damage resistance. Oh no, damage resistance comes from the ultra rare card. So this is 15%, 15%, and 15%. So I should be getting about 45% damage reduction. I just don't know how much damage I'm getting dealt here. Did it actually attack me? I felt like it didn't do anything. This is really hard. This is really hard to test out. So basically, you use the ultra rare card, right, for damage reduction, and ultimate form for damage reduction, but it has a 4-turn cooldown. So now we gotta wait for 4 turns. And during this time, I guess I'll find out how much damage I'm getting dealt, because like all of this damage I'm getting is actually static. It's coming from the static Aegis. Okay, so that's about like 20,000 or something like that. So I think that's about 20,000, right? So the next time I can activate it, to help me pay attention and see, I saw like 0 damage, right? That's what you saw too. I saw 0 damage taken. So let's see. So now that it's ready again. Okay, so 1799970. So I should be getting static damage and also damage from the boss. So let's see, no static damage, and I'm just getting 0 damage dealt to me. I don't know what's going on. See, this is where I'm not sure if it's dependent on the amount of damage that the boss deals, or what's going on with the math here. But I'm seeing 0 damage, right? I'm seeing 0 damage dealt by the boss here, and you can see it, electric shock, nothing, and it just zeros all around the board here. So that is very weird. And as my immortal intensity is going up, you can see the number of power gems I'm spawning is also going to increase, right? So pretty soon I'm going to be filling up the entire board, as you saw earlier, fill up the entire board with power gems. So like I'm just going to keep going and see how high I can get this, right? Yeah. So I think that, I think that's true. Then it's just additive, right? I think it's just 15%. Every gem that you get that's power gem 5 or higher, excuse me, is going to be, yeah. So and I guess for me, I have 9. I started with 9 power gem 5s because I had 2 ultra rare cards and 1 ultimate form. So 9. With 9 gems there, it's basically over 100%. So that's why it's basically 0 damage, and so that makes sense now, right? So. I had to think about it for a second, so apologies for the moment there. But basically, due to the fact that I started with 9 power gen 5s already, that already guaranteed that I was not going to have any damage taken, right? And so that would be the reason why. Yeah. So but only PG5s, right? So if you were able to power gem, if you're able to get gem crush to to at least 7 or so, then you can basically effectively get yourself immunity every 4 turns. So it can be helpful too. It can also be helpful in guild versus guild type bosses fights. Give yourself immunity. Also, you can get basically free gem spawns. You can get yourself gem reduction every 4 turns, and so that leaves you 1 turn where you have to take damage. And then if you work with Verdant Druids too, I feel like this is going to be a pretty strong deck against other against guild versus guild opponents. That's just that's just kind of my take on it. Just kind of thinking out loud here. I haven't tried it. We can try it next just to see. But I feel like that's pretty good, and especially since if you have the right relics, you could activate it on turn 1, right? So that gives you that gives you turn 1 immunity, right? So it gives you turn 1 immunity for every card that you use, and then as the fight goes on, then you'll be able to use Verdant Druids to nuke down the boss. And so yeah, so that's what I'm thinking is going to be the case here. So I'm gonna test out against Guild versus Guild next, just to see if my assumption is correct here. So let's go take a look, and I guess we can test it out against my boss here, right? So let's go ahead and practice against my team, just to see. I mean, like, this is completely off affinity and everything, but I just wanted to kind of test it out, right? So if what I'm assuming is true, then after turn 1, I should be able to get... After turn 1, I should be able to get no damage taken. Assuming that I could fill up... Assuming I can fill up the... Oh no, I guess not turn 1. I could at least reduce a lot of damage. Because I don't think I'm going to have enough Power Gen 5s on board. I don't have the right relics here. So we get damage reduction, and we have passive gems, and we have Toxin and Electricity. Okay, so I don't have the power. Yeah, I needed more relics here. I don't know if I'll die here. Okay, they've really reduced the power output of your they really reduced the power output of the defenders here. So let's go ahead and activate one here. So this is now going to give us, it should give us 100% damage resistance, right? So let's just see. I'm not sure if I'll be able to kill the boss here. Probably not, right? Everything's blocked, but damage reduction. Yeah, so I get 0 damage. Okay, right? So damage, 0 damage here. Let's try this one more time. Although I'm not really dealing any damage here. So I'm going to see if Verdant Druids will be able to deal some damage here. So at 180 million damage, it doesn't do anything. But at the same time, I'm not getting any damage. And there's counterattack going on here. So it definitely works. Okay, so it definitely works that you can reduce the damage to a point where you don't get any damage taken. But right now I'm going up against a wrong affinity card, and I'm not dealing any damage whatsoever. So Vincent Harmon, if you wanted the top card or the bottom card, you wanted the bottom card. I guess what you're asking is you want the ultra rare card, which is this one right here, Moonlit Matriarch. I think that's the card that you should go for. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to survive this just because I don't have... I can't deal enough damage. The thing about it is the damage output from the Wardens have reduced, but at the same time... their armor and everything has also gone up, so using like the wrong affinity here, like it doesn't work anymore. And so, but what I wanted to show is that in a wave situation, a single activation of the ultimate form or the ultra rare card is enough for you to reduce the damage down to it's effectively an immunity. It's immunity based on the number of PG5s that you get on the board. And so I would say the ultra rare card in this particular case is the much more important card than the Master Collection card. So I got super lucky here, and I got 2 of those cards from my draws. And so that is how I was able to show how it works. So I'm glad I'm able to show how it works. And what that means is I'm going to also be able to kind of talk about, like, formations and how to use this deck sometime this week. Wasn't able to do it for the last 2 events, but at least I can do that today. And so in summary, what we showed here is that the ultra rare card is by far more superior in this case. I think there is the problem where we're going to expect Alacrity, Toxin, and Chaos. All 3 of these will block cards that we normally use, which is... going to become a little bit of a problem. So the cards that are going to be impacted are the following. So the first one is unit area will be impacted by high performance unit area will be impacted by Toxin. So you must find a way to dispel it, because this card's passive ability to cleanse all cards will not work if it gets hit by Toxin first. And so if this card gets hit by Toxin first, it will not work. So you must find a way to dispel it. Alacrity is going to impact the Earth Arcane killer cards, which is the Jailers deck. So another option that people could have gone with is Jailers and Hard-Won Gorillas with another Immortal Killer, right? So one thing I would have done is I would have gone with let's take a look and see what this one dispels. So a Savage Swarm dispels Alacrity. Then I guess it's okay. But if you don't have it, right? If you don't have the card, then this would have been my option. I would have gone with Jailers plus Hard One Gorillas plus maybe I would have gone with that and the Quick and Dirty, right? So Alacrity blocks anything with turn delay, and Jailers is all about turn delay. And so this would have blocked that. Chaos would destroy all the gems on the board, and that would block the, Starborn Sentinels deck. So if you use Starborn Sentinels, all of the PG5s, the light PG5s that you that you save up is going to get destroyed, and effectively you will not be able to use the mechanic to get rid of to basically power your power chips. And so I would have to say that it's not a coincidence that they came up with this set of this set of debuffs, because they're very targeted at the cards that we've been using. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes the norm. So that's something to really watch out for. The second thing to really watch out for is the shields. Every shield that you leave on the board now is going to be about a 6% decrease in your damage. Okay, 6% decrease is significant, especially if you get like 5 or 6 shields on the board. Whereas it used to be a benefit to leave them on the board, it no longer is an option, because the reduction in your damage that you deal to the boss is just way too high. And so you have to find a way to destroy those shields. And in a immortal event, I would say it's better to simply say, look, just go ahead and put in any immortal killer relic that is going to destroy the shield. In this case, like, pick anything from the list here, whatever can help you remove the shields, that's what you should go with, at the sacrifice of getting more power gens from the relics. I think it's more beneficial to get the shield break to make sure that you can maximize the damage here. So shields are actually 10 to 15%. I think it depends on the number of shields you have on the board there. So 6 shields is now 60%, so it's actually higher. So I was kind of basing it on the math that other people have done based on the observations. So it's even worse, right? So it's even worse. Six shields at 60%, so you have to get rid of those shields. So Catherine McIntyre, what? You have to be more specific. I'm not sure what you're asking about the questions here. So if you're talking about like what you need to do, like what I'm calling out here is these are the three skills that the 3 debuffs you have to work around are going to be Alacrity, Toxin, and Chaos, depending on what cards you're using. Okay, and so the thing that you do here is just go and take a look at the counter skills. So the first thing is look for cards that counter Alacrity. If you're using Jailers, then you want to look for a card that can counter Alacrity. Look for options there. If you're using High Performance Area, then you have to look for something that dispels Toxin. Right, and so look for cards that have Toxin dispel ability and use that. So it is an unfortunate thing that if you don't have the event deck, but you're using cards that the debuffs specifically target, then it is going to reduce your overall damage because you can't use the full setup that you're used to. But there are cards that will at least counter it, and so if you're using a dark card. So one of the cards that you can use here is Gan, Cold-Hearted Chancellor. It's a Slayer card, but it's a dark card. You can use that, or you can use an Earth card. I don't think there's an Earth one. I think this was called out that we don't have an Earth one really good. Yeah. So in terms of so event card also dispels Toxin. So if you get the event card for this event, then I would at least use that, because that card also dispels Toxin. And if you have one of the Generation 2 Legend cards, this card also will dispel Toxin. Okay, and so you can see here what this does is it will chance to it also removes Alacrity. Okay, and so what it does is it will you can also use card for both Alacrity and Toxin. And so this one card can be useful if you have this also. So there are, there are options. It's just that the options make it so your team overall is going to be a little bit weaker. Wardens will give you a guaranteed dispel. Okay, so the thing about using wardens is that wardens are a guarantee, and I'll show you why that is. If I can find a warden in my list here. I think I got, oh, here it is. So here's, no, Eris is a dragoon, it's not a warden. I don't think I've kept, okay, so I kept a couple. Right, so for example, if you take a look at a warden, the spell level is at 9, and during the event, their debuff level is at 6, and so it's a 100% guarantee that you can counter. But the battle skill may not be what you're looking for. So there are other cards that potentially could do better. In my opinion, if you have the event card, if you have this card, then you should absolutely use it if you plan to use high performance area, because I think you have to be able to make a card work, and you need to be able to counter it. And honestly, Subterra creates 3 Power Gen 4s, and the Master Collection card just creates 4. So it's not a bad trade-off here. It's just that this will allow you to boost your Immortal Killers, and this card immediately directly gets benefit from it. And so I think it's a good card that you can also use here. Okay, so Vincent, they don't have that anymore. So they used to make some wardens have the commander or the slayer ability. They've stopped doing that. So because they've stopped doing that, you can expect that we're not going to see this anymore. So the player, the alacrity will prevent you from doing turn delay. It stops your cards from activating if the card's ability does turn delay. So alacrity is for turn delay. Toxin is for healing, and then chaos basically just every single turn it will destroy the all the gems on the board, so all the power gems and everything gets reset, so you lose all of your power gems that you save up. And so all of those debuffs are really targeted toward the cards that we've been using for this meta, and I totally recognize that. And so the choices around them, you have to use different cards to dispel them. And so what I'll try and do is I'll try and come up with some ideas that allow our meta cards to still work while working around the limitations of the debuffs that are available, that are here. And so that's going to be my plan. And then I will come back on Sunday afterwards to talk about the event and see how things go. I will have to say that, compared to the previous 2 events, this event deck feels like, well, because I know what Star Sentinels is capable of, and now that I've seen the damage reduction ability, I say that it is, so far, I think the best deck in this season so far. Okay, and I think that Ultra Rare card is definitely better than the Master Collection card. If you have to forge one card, don't go for the Master, go for the Ultra Rare. It has a lot more benefits than just a, the benefit comes from both the immunity that you can potentially get, and also the passive gem spawn that helps you with the overall meta of, hey, let's spawn a bunch of power gems and then create that. In fact, I think before I go, what I'll do is I will show you, like, if I didn't have this right here, what I would have simply done is, if I never had Starborn Sentinels, but I got the Ultra Rare card, and let's say I don't get anything else, let's say like, I don't typically get anything for the events or anything like that, then what I would do is I would probably forge the Ultra Rare card, and then what I'll do is I'll put it in there. So this is now my version of the same kind of setup that I normally do, that uses high performance area and an Immortal Killer and all that jazz, with the Ultra Rare card that will effectively do the same thing as the Starborn Sentinels. Okay, and this card can give me the immunity also. So all in all, I think it's just a really good card all around. I definitely think that it is one that is worth forging if you can get the full deck. I would say go for it. I don't have any regret using my coins for this deck here, so I'm pretty glad about that. And so that's gonna be it for me for today for this preview here. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I think that there's not much changes except that the boss health is going to be reduced, or difficulty is going to be reduced, so that's a good thing. I think that the event deck here is pretty good. Despite the power, like whether or not it's a powerful deck or not, I think it's a really good utility deck that has utility over multiple events. That's what I prefer to see. I don't care that I can't get 500% overkill. I care that if I get this deck, I can use that card 10 events from now, right? And so for me, that's more important, and I think that this deck fulfills that requirement for me, right? So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Hope you have a good event. I will see you. Well, I won't see you because I'll be coming up with a video, but I will see you next time when I'm streaming again. So take care. Have a good night. I'll see you there. All right. Bye now.